Botafogo beat Vasco today, 2-0, and they were scored by Luis Henrique and Carlos Alberto. Botafogo had quite the week, so there's a lot to unpack since the last time we have spoken. So if you have not kept up with the club, then buckle up because there's a lot to talk about. Welcome to Glorious Botafogo, the only place you're going to get news in English about what happens in the day-to-day here on YouTube and also here on Twitter if you're watching this on Twitter, because I post in both places. You can also find me on Instagram and on Facebook as well, although I am more active on Twitter and here on YouTube. Where to even begin? If you don't know, this past week, former Botafogo coach Luis Castro, the one that's been at the helm of this whole thing for about a year now, amongst quite a few ups and downs throughout this whole year that he's been here with us. You know, we had a good Brasileirão last year. We did not make it to the Libertadores until, besides the fact that we were able to all the way up into the very last match in the Brasileirão. We didn't make it. That's okay, because this is a mid to long-term project. It's something that Luis Castro has always said. This is a long-term project. These things are not going to happen overnight, which has also been what John Texter has said throughout this whole transitioning period. Well, Luis Castro received an offer from Al Nasser. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, from Saudi Arabia. If you don't know, Saudi Arabia has been spending a lot of money in their league this year, signing very big names in the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, which is the team that went after Luis Castro. And the team paid for the contract clause to release Luis Castro before the end of his contract, which would have been until the end of next year or the middle of next year. And so with that, Luis Castro left the club. Now, Botafogo supporters are very, very upset at Luis Castro. And why is that? Well, even though Coach Luis Castro said that he did not have any official offer from the Saudi club, and he said on Thursday night he got the official contract on Wednesday. But according to some of the sources that I have, and you guys have seen it already on Twitter, and you might have seen it in other places, that him saying that he got the contract on Wednesday may be true, but he's known about it for about at least 2 weeks. It's July 2nd. He knew since the 17th of June of the Saudis' interest. At that time, I'm pretty sure Luis Castro had made the decision to go because it's a great opportunity financially speaking. He's going to make a lot of money. They're going to give him a $13 million mention, and he's going to be able to coach Cristiano Ronaldo, which is most likely Portugal's biggest, most famous name since Eusébio. So I get it. I understand. If I was a coach and he said, hey, I want you to coach Ronaldo, R9, I'm going to pay you double, almost triple of what you're making right now, and I'm going to buy you a house, and at the end of the contract, you can keep the house. It's really hard to say no, especially for those that work with you. They also get a pay raise. I get it. I understand. But what we as supporters were very frustrated and felt like we were backstabbed is the fact that Luis Castro knew about it. He didn't say a single word. His trip to Portugal was not only a vacation, and quote unquote vacation, but was also to finalize the final details of his contract because he knew he was leaving. He did not tell John Texter. He did not say anything to anyone inside the club. And the only way this leaked to the press is because Castro's own staff leaked it. They created this storm that could have been avoided. If Luis Castro from the get-go has said, hey, John Texter, I received this offer. It's too good to pass. It doesn't matter what you offer, what you put on the table. I'm not going to accept it because I want to do this. I want to go coach Cristiano Ronaldo and Ziyech and Brozovic and Talisca and all these other names that are in the Saudi team and more to come. Benzema, Kante, and all these other players are Ruben Neves. They are playing in the Saudi league now, and it's bound to get better. It's bound to get bigger names. With that, you get the eyes of the world in the league. So yeah, it's very good for him. It's probably the biggest, most prestigious coaching opportunity that he's had in his career so far, apart from coming and coaching Botafogo. So we get it. But what we did not like is the hypocrisy. It's the, and to the cameras, to the press, he would say one thing and then he would do something else behind the scenes. Some of you know, some of you might not know, and I don't want to throw any more fuel in the fire, but Luis Castro's family talk and how everybody is important in the team and how we're all a family and this and that, it was bogus. It was bogus. It was bogus. He had favorites. He picked favorites. There was players that he just didn't even care about. He wanted to replaced. He didn't even care about the U23, the B team that was supposed to feed players to the main team. He saw one match of that team. If you're talking about a mid to long-term project, a project in which you're going to have players to develop and play in the first team and then make a sale later on, then you should be doing that. And he wasn't doing it. He wasn't even looking towards the academy. And so it was a lot of hypocrisy going on. It was a lot of saying one thing to the camera and doing something else behind the scenes. So we were very frustrated and since he knew about it, he took his entire staff. He took the fitness coach, which was doing a great job. It was one of the best fitness coaches Botafogo has had in a long, long time. The team was doing great inside the pitch. Their conditioning has been great. So Castro took that guy too. So on Thursday night, there was everybody there. And then comes Friday morning, they're all gone. They're done. The whole team leaves and Botafogo is literally left with just 2 to 3 people plus interim coach Claudio Cassapa. They came in to save the day per John Texter's request. And after the press conference today, Cassapa was very honored to be here and really embraced this family, the real family that the players have. And there are players in the team that felt betrayed. So that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to talk about the subject any longer. Luis Castro and his staff, for the time that we're here, if you look at the table right now, so let's switch to the table real quick. If you look at the table right now, there it is. Luis Castro left Botafogo at a very advantageous position. That is true. But the fact that he did not want to continue on with the project and this whole talk of never leaving before the end of a project and this and that, again, hypocrisy at its best, right? But anyways, page turned. Botafogo played Vasco today. Botafogo beat Vasco. Once again, staying ahead of second place by quite a bit. Let me bring this down real quick. Look, Botafogo is in first place with 33 points. Beautiful to see. We love to see it. Grêmio in second place with 26. Botafogo and Grêmio play each other next fixture. Flamengo and Palmeiras play each other in this next fixture. Let's just say that Palmeiras beats Flamengo or there's a tie. They stay at Flamengo stays at 26, 24, or 26, 25. Botafogo beats Grêmio 26. Botafogo goes to 36 points, 10 ahead of second place. That's 3.5 matches of advantage over second place. So let's hope that the team does well against Grêmio. Grêmio is a squad that, apart from Luis Suarez and Cristaldo, they have a decent squad, and it's kind of like Botafogo, where there's apart from their goal scorers, they're both decent teams. I think Botafogo has the better team. Botafogo has a team with better names, bigger names. Playing at Grêmio is not the easiest. It has never been, and it will never will be. But I believe in this club. I believe in this team. 11 wins, no draws, 0 losses. We have the squad to do it. And if there's a year to do it, this is the year. So hope Botafogo gets a win against Grêmio so we can continue on. Botafogo moved on to the next stage in the Sul-Americana Cup. Now we got second place in the squad after a tie with Magallanes, and LDU LDU, the team from Ecuador, they ended up winning. So they got first place. We will play a team from Argentina, a team that comes from the second division in Argentina that's actually been doing quite well. But yeah, I cannot wait for the Brasileirão match next week. Let's see how interim coach Claudio Caçapa will do throughout the week. He said that he's going to add a few things of his own ideas, but he doesn't want to change what the club has developed so far. This style of play that's been working really well, and the results are there on the screen. We're in first place. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you are new here. Share the pages with your friends, especially those that are supporters in English and do not know about this, so we can spread the word, not only about Botafogo, but also about the Brasileirão. There's other great channels out there, like the Smoking Snake podcast, and there's Owen Sullivan that does a great job with Flamengo, and Peter and Enric that cover Santos and are the hosts of the Smoking Snake podcast. So those are great channels to follow as well. And there's also Corinthians in English on Twitter if you want to follow that. But anyways, that's the end of the video for today. I hope some of you guys, if you didn't know, that you understand a little bit more about our frustrations with this past week, but that is a page turned and teared and burnt and gone to the wind. And we will focus on what really matters, which is the club. Botafogo is the supporters, and we will be there with the club. It doesn't matter who is on the pitch playing, and it doesn't matter who is at the sideline commanding the squad. But we will be there regardless of who's there, and that's always the way that it's been. It's how it always will be. So until next week against Grêmio, let's hope for a win. Let's pray for a win, and let's believe in the win, right? Let's do like Ted Lasso, and let's believe, because if there's any year to believe, then this year is that year.